Right over here.
Did they call him someone? Yes, it'll be. Going the wrong way.
Good afternoon, Raj.
Good afternoon.
Raj, what's the most important thing for me to know at this time?
That it's time for you to float on your back, as in swimming. It is not time to be practicing the crawl stroke or any other means of getting somewhere, but of learning to let go and let yourself be supported where you are not holding yourself up through any effort of your own. It's time to yield into the underlying everlasting arms of love so completely that you feel their support, that you feel your safety, and so that you feel the peace of mind that will allow you to be perfectly on target, perfectly in sync with your fulfillment. That's it in a nutshell. Do you want another hug?
In a minute. This indicates to me inactivity. Like, I'm wondering, how do I spend my days? I'm fortunate enough not to have to do anything, but in other words, is there activity here?
Yes, there's activity. Certainly, there's activity, but not survival activity.
And that means play.
That means be present, pay attention, look for the evidence of the kingdom of heaven in everything that you see, encounter. It means assume that you know nothing and you want to know everything, and so you're going to be attentive. In the letting go, you can be fully present and you can more fully connect with everything. And more easily feel the fulfillment. It doesn't mean do nothing. It means do everything in a different way. It means do everything without thinking you know what everything is. Do everything as though you don't know what everything is, so that you can let in more of its meaning.
Thank you. I'll take that hug now.
Right there.
Yeah, I want this and I don't want this, because I'm not quite sure how to say. I do want your help, but it's about something I don't understand, so I don't know how to even talk about it. In some way that would include all these changes and of perception of who I am, so I can say I don't really know who I am. And I trust you know what I'm talking about, but then in the group I feel I should say
I invite you
more.
to do your best at putting it into words.
Well, it's about I've been reflecting on myself due to new experiences and seeing. It's like I think I'm backtracking, like you said would happen, through different steps of going away from reality. So now I feel, in a way, I'm back to an earlier Julie, younger Julie, and like having the same really dilemma I did as a very young adult, but I've, tried living, I'm in my 50s, so, but it's the same, that all I know to do is paint, and there really isn't anything else that I want to pursue. But that's one piece of it, and that was really hard for me as a young person, to not want to go out in the world and become something.
But you see, retracing your steps doesn't mean retracing the development of your ego, where you end up being a younger ego with its ignorances. Retracing your steps toward home is to come into a fuller and fuller experience of what you are divinely and the ever-present integrity of your being that had been covered up, so that you are more empowered to be present in the moment.
Okay, so this is a mistake.
What you are describing is not what I was referring to.
Okay. So it isn't helpful to think about any other period in my life. Just okay.
It's not helpful to think about anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Awakening isn't a psychological process. For lack of better words, I will say that awakening is a heart process. What always gets the ball rolling in terms of awakening is to connect with love, to have the experience of love. And in order for that to happen, you've got to let it in. And where's it going to come from? It's going to come from God. Because until it's come from God and registered with you, there's nothing to let out. And then it's God's love that ends up being let out. And God's love finds expression always in fulfilling ways, quote, in the world, that blesses you and blesses others. So, that's why I say get in touch with what you love, what you care about. And you get in touch with what you love and what you care about, so that it can be extended, not held tight. It leads to involvement in the world. It leads to involvement with your brothers and sisters. What starts the trip home is love.
Well, is this involvement then different from spending time by yourself?
How is spending time with yourself involvement of any kind?
Well, it is involvement
With
whatever you're doing in peace.
No, I am speaking of involvement with that which is obviously alive. It's impossible to be the presence of love all by yourself. What does love do? What is the movement of love? What is the nature of love? It's embrace. Love cannot occur in isolation. So love is always something that is shared with something that can have the experience of it being shared.
I'm just going to hang in here. Like, I don't think I'm a very social person. So this doesn't sound good.
I agree, and I understand, and many others will too. This is what I was talking about earlier. It's the work you have to do. You have to break the isolation. You have to break the habit of isolation. Now, the words social person has some negative connotations because, she's a social gadabout, or, it's not about being social, it's about connecting. Extending is about connecting. It's about involvement. It's not just about chatter, social chatter. You've got to find something to care about. You've got to have an object of your affection and share your affection. Which really means you just have to find people to care about and care about them. Actual actions. Whether it's being nice to the little kid that lives down on the corner as you walk by saying, "Hi, how are you today?" Or, as I've said before, smiling at the grocery clerk. But a connection. And so you will have to let go of your isolation, and because it's made you feel secure, then what I'm suggesting to you doesn't sound like good news. But it ain't going to work any other way for any of you.
Well, yeah. I don't know if this is a waste of time, but a lot of connecting seems superficial. It's not very connecting at all. So
don't do that.
But other people would like to do it. in a kind of an unconscious
This is true.
talking. And
So, you don't have to do it just because that's what they would like to do. Find people who want to be connected with. See if there isn't time you can spend at the local library reading books to children who come in for that specific purpose. There are ways to do what could be called social work. There are ways to connect with people that are helpful, that make them feel connected with and better for the connection. Find a way to break the isolation without becoming an irrelevant chatter. Do whatever work it takes to find those people. Do whatever kind of work it takes to break out of your shell meaningfully. Change isn't going to happen to you. Regeneration isn't going to happen to you. You've got to embrace it. Notice I didn't say you've got to create it, but you've got to embrace it. And you've got to live it out into your life. And one excellent way to do it is to let someone else be more important to you than you. I'm not picking on you here. It's something everyone needs to know. Children, the elderly. There are people who are in need of connecting. Find them. You don't have to make a career out of it, but find them. And when you have the opportunity to consciously extend caring and love, do it. Arrange to do it. That's the way you break the isolation. The reason awakening starts with love is because love is something you can't engage in by yourself. When love comes into the picture, you've got to reach out. You've got to extend. And that's what begins to weaken the ego structures that seem to have you isolated and miserable.
well, this is really news to me. So, because
I'm so glad.
yeah,
Abide with it for now, and we can come back to it if you have further questions.
Thank you. Can I ask you a yes or no real quick on the
Yes, you may.
about, I've been thinking for a while about going to South Africa for the reason that you're talking about. So you would encourage me?
I would not discourage you. But I'm not going to take away the impetus for choice from within you by saying, yes, you should do that. Okay.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Hands. Right here.
I have a question about being a parent. I have 2 daughters. The oldest one is 16 and a half years old. She's just nearing the end of 10th grade. And I might be underestimating her ability to make decisions. But as a parent, I just have a really hard time letting her make her own decisions on things that don't resonate with me very well, especially now since they're driving. They have access to automobiles. I'm just nervous about it. I don't know.
Shades of your very own mother.
Yes, it's tough. I want to say to her, yes, you can make your own decisions. But she's bigger than I am. I mean, she's not little anymore, even though I don't want to underestimate her ability to make her own choices. And I've been so listening to every answer you've given to every person here. It's all pertained to me in my raising of my daughters. I've been listening closely. It all applies. But the college thing, the choices about her future, whether we should let someone who's had a license for 8 weeks drive to Oregon, I mean, these are the things that she's presenting to me. Do you want me to try to formulate a specific question? I'm desperately searching for guidance almost daily. Daily, hourly.
It does require that. At least you have that available to you, which your mother did not.
No, I just did whatever I wanted. I didn't tell her a thing. But this child, this child tells me, this child asks me and asks, tells me what she's thinking about, even before it's fully formulated. It's like, oh my God.
So what you're really saying is, or asking is, shall I really let her grow up? Hey, this is what raising her has been all about. Helping her to arrive at a point where the transition between your authority and her authority can occur. You really don't want her to still be living home at the age of 40, obediently doing everything you feel is appropriate. Now, the other thing is you really do want her to practice making her own decisions while she's still at home, where you're available to provide wise counsel. Not authority, but wise counsel that can help her modify decisions that didn't work well without being made to feel like she's stupid. In practical terms, I would counsel you to not allow her to drive to Oregon until she's been driving for at least 6 months. You must still use common sense. She needs more experience, and you know that. Not every decision, you cannot allow her to act on every decision she has or wishes to act on. But understand that this is the time for her to begin taking the mantle of authority from your shoulders and putting them on her shoulders. This is the only way she's going to learn self-discipline. Right?
Yes, there's probably going to be a few more arguments before she's...
You can count on it.
I mean, it's really getting big. The usual. I expected it. Just one more little question.
Here's the key. The key is that you cannot, whether it's her or anyone else, you cannot allow her decisions to override your integrity. You cannot allow her or anyone else to require you to behave in a manner that causes you to violate yourself. There are certain things that she will have to wait until she's completely on her own before she can do. There are certain things she cannot do in your home if they override your integrity. And if you allow her to do things where you have sacrificed your own integrity, you will begin to hate her. And yet you are the one who will have made the decision to override your own integrity. And you don't want that. The transfer of the mantle of authority is essential, and it's what all of this has been leading up to. If she doesn't make mistakes, she's not going to learn for herself. She will just be obedient to what your experience has taught you, and she will have no, I'm going to say, no developed sense of what her own integrity is. Don't try to save her from heartache, from misery, as a result of her choices, because in the experience of them, not the intellectual appreciation of them, but the experience of them, she will have her own reasons for making different decisions in the future. And that is what you're wanting.
Could you explain the last sentence? That's what I'm wanting.
You are wanting, you had a child, and you have raised this child so that this child will arrive at a point of leaving your home so that you can discover that you're something more than a mother and make good choices for her own reasons, not yours.
Absolutely.
And her own reasons for making good choices will evolve from the good choices and the bad choices she makes and the consequence of each.